Okay, let's dive straight in. We've got a fascinating set of chapters from the Vietnamese novel Lam Nung Trong Long right here.
Right. And well, our mission today is really to get a handle on the complex relationships and the big conflicts that are starting to emerge in these excerpts.
Exactly. Think of this as your fast track. We want you to grasp the core of the story, the dynamics.
Mm-hmm. And there's quite a bit going on. We see some pretty intense sibling rivalry for starters, like really intense.
Yeah, and school dynamics, that whole pressure cooker environment, plus definitely some romantic tension bubbling up.
And societal pressures, too, you can really feel that weighing on the characters.
So for you, the learner, our aim here is to pull out those key insights,
Mm.
right? Understand why these characters are doing what they're doing, what the drama's all about.
Without getting bogged down in every single detail. It's like a shortcut to understanding this narrative world.
A shortcut, exactly. So with all that laid out, where should we begin? What feels like the central point to start unraveling?
I think it has to be the sisters, Tikbot and Tikfai. That relationship is just, it's foundational to everything else, it seems.
You can say that again. It
Wrong.
is definitely not your typical sisterly bond. Those flashbacks, they hit pretty hard.
They really do. Learning that in a past life, Tikbot was basically exploited by her family, used as a living blood bank for Tikfai. That's
Ugh,
heavy.
seriously heavy. And you have to wonder how that shapes her now. Is her wanting a normal, peaceful life just about avoiding that past? Or is this something more active, like trying to heal?
That's a great question. It feels like her determination now is, directly because of that past trauma. She's desperately trying to steer clear of repeating it.
But the patterns, they seem hard to break.
Oh, absolutely. That incident at the hospital, it's quite shocking, isn't it?
It really is. The parents just
Wow.
blatant favoritism towards Tick Fi. She needs blood after some reckless competition's done.
Which sounds like it was her own fault, by the way.
Right. And Tickbot is just expected to provide it. Again, minimal concern for her own health.
And the doctor's comment, just feed her some liver. It's so dismissive, almost callous. It really highlights how little Tickbot's well-being seems to matter in those moments.
Yeah, it really underscores that family dynamic, maybe even cultural pressures about, the star child versus the other.
That's a really insightful point. And this whole public image versus private reality thing, it gets amplified by the school, 10 High.
Oh, with a CCTV interview. Yeah, they're pushing Tick Fi as like strong, bright image.
And Tikbot is basically forced to play along, right? This whole fabricated story about fighting illness together.
Which is fascinating because we find out in her past life, she didn't play along. She told the truth during that interview.
She did. She said, no, I didn't want to because taking blood hurts. Straight up honesty.
And the consequences were severe. Online attacks, social isolation. Just for being honest.
So you can see why this time around she might be playing things differently, more strategically maybe.
Definitely seems that way. It feels like she's learned, maybe the hard way, that simple honesty doesn't always work in her favor.
Which brings us to the competition, the singing and dancing one. Tik Fai tries to rope Tikbak into collaborating with the singer, Loch Thane.
Yeah, and it feels very much like a move to overshadow Tickabak's own plan to perform with the cello.
Exactly. Tikbak agrees initially, but you get the sense she's got her own plan brewing. She's not just going along for the ride this time.
And then the sabotage. The cello goes missing.
Ugh, yeah. A really cruel move. Orchestrated by Tik Fai, it turns out.
And covered up by the school, which says a lot about their bias, doesn't it? Protecting their star student, I guess.
It really does, but this is where Taktui steps in, kind of unexpectedly.
Right, the video evidence. He managed to get proof that Tik Fi stole the cello.
But Tikbot doesn't immediately reveal it. She holds back. She talks about waiting for what was it? A qualitative change.
Yeah, what do you think she means by that? A qualitative change. Is it about her family finally seeing her value or something bigger?
It feels like maybe she's waiting for a moment where the truth will have the most impact, a fundamental shift, not just another small victory that gets swept under the rug. She wants something to actually change.
Well, she certainly gets a dramatic reveal. Tatui hijacking the live interview to play that video.
Talk about impact. Instant public outrage. Tatfai's social standing just plummets.
You'd think that would be a wake-up call for the parents, wouldn't you?
You would, but astonishingly. But no, they're still minimizing what Tut Fifey did, still pressuring Tut Bat to be the understanding one.
It's unbelievable, but take that. This time, she pushes back. She demands recognition for her talent in the competition.
Yes. That feel like a huge step for her, asserting herself finally. A real turning point, maybe.
Definitely feels like it. Okay, so that's the sister dynamic, which is clearly central. But let's shift focus to Tatui himself and his relationship with Tekba.
Right, because their interactions are, well, complicated from the start.
Yeah, she's actively trying to avoid him initially, isn't she? He comes across as this rebellious, maybe even dangerous figure.
Very forceful, stubborn, used to getting his own way, and knowing about his father's past, the criminal background. It adds another layer, maybe explains some of his attitude towards rules and authority.
But then there are these little moments, unexpected kindnesses.
Exactly, like noticing what food she likes or getting her pain meds, helping with her bike. It clashes with that tough exterior,
It shows there's more to him. But then you have the illegal street racing.
which is seriously dangerous. And Tikbot knows from her past life knowledge about a fatal accident he was involved in. So that worry is completely understandable.
Absolutely. It adds this layer of genuine fear and concern to whatever else might be developing between them.
Despite all that, though, he's incredibly protective of her.
Oh, yeah. Stepping in when TechFi is bullying her, defending her online when people are trashing her.
His mother's rejection, which we learn about later, might explain some of that fierce protectiveness, that need to hold on to someone.
That makes sense. And you can feel the connection building, can't you? The text mentions unspoken feelings, that near kiss, moments where they let their guard down a bit,
Definitely. It's not just antagonism or him being protective. There's vulnerability there, too.
and mutual support. She helps him after a fight, gives him a bandage, and he risks getting expelled to expose TechFi for her.
Those actions speak volumes, don't they? Building trust, building a bond, even when things are tense between them.
Getting those glimpses into his background, the difficult childhood, the criminal father, the mother who rejected him, it really helps you understand him better.
Yeah.
Why he's so guarded, maybe why he clings so tightly to Tixvi.
It provides crucial context. So even when they argue, like when she confronts him about the racing,
Which she has every right to be concerned about.
absolutely, but even through that conflict, his, well, possessiveness, maybe, but also his devotion to her is really clear.
He seems deeply attached. And that reunion scene, after he gets out of police custody for the video incident, it felt quite poignant. Like it solidified something between them.
Yeah, it did. It showed the depth of that connection, despite all the turmoil.
Okay, so we've got the sisters, we've got Tetui. What about the broader context? The school, the social scene.
Right, because Dektan High isn't just a backdrop, it has its own ecosystem.
Definitely a clear hierarchy. Popular kids like Tik Fei Fai, powerful figures like Tik Tui, they wield influence.
And that shapes everything. Tikbake's past experience being ostracized just for telling the truth, that shows the power of peer pressure, the need to conform in that environment.
And the online world plays a huge role too. Reputation is everything, it seems. Look how quickly public opinion turned on Tik Beck in her past life and then on Tik Fei now.
It's swift and brutal, but it's not all negative social dynamics. Tikback does find some allies.
Yeah, friends like Anhaha and Zhang Yun, they offer support, which must mean a lot. Zatubi has his own crew too.
Those friendships, those alliances, they provide little pockets of support in what seems like a pretty intense competitive place.
And speaking of competition, that singing and dancing contest really becomes a focal point for everything, doesn't it? Ambition, jealousy.
Sabotage. And you see other rivalries too, like between Tokfai and Ungtun Ko. It's a pressure cooker.
And the school administration, their bias towards Tuk Fai Fai is pretty blatant. Trying to protect her, protect the school's reputation, even when she's clearly in the wrong.
Yeah, that definitely reinforces the existing power structures and makes it harder for someone like Tikbot to get a fair shake.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, it feels like we've really unpacked some core elements from these chapters.
I think so. The toxic sister relationship, Tikbot's incredibly complicated connection with Tik2, and just the overall pressures of that high school world.
Definitely. And the aha moments were certainly there. Understanding Tikbot's past trauma changes how you see her actions now.
Absolutely. And seeing Tukfai's manipulation exposed, plus watching the dynamic shift between Tukbot and Tatui, those are key developments.
So for you, listening, hopefully digging into these initial dynamics gives you a really solid footing to understand where this story might go next. You've got a clearer view of Tukbot's struggles and the complex web of her relationships.
Which leaves us with a final thought, something for you to chew on. Tukbak was waiting for that qualitative change, right? The truth about the cello is out now. Tukfai is facing the fallout, and Tutui might face consequences too.
So the question is this the change she was waiting for? Or is there something more she needs?
Exactly. How will these secrets, now out in the open, reshape everyone's lives moving forward? What happens next? Definitely something to think about.